Go.
Now we're up. I'm curious if chat will display from the One Love community. I was goofing around before. Should all pop up. So you guys chatting in, you will display and we will respond. You just got to watch the live stream for that. Coming at you from the DTube stage today with anime for the world. You got Aminul Islam in the stage here listening in. Thank you for joining us. Today we're just talking a little bit about what you guys can expect from DTube coming up into the future. Before we get too much into that, how are you doing today, Anime?
Good, you?
Just trying to get warmed up, man. I'm
Yeah.
a little upset that we don't have a guest today, but you know, people, life, we're moving into summer. You know, I can't really expect people to take time out of their discovering their lives again to sit here and converse with me. So thank you for being here today.
No, I see it like this. Anything can happen, Dookie, especially on your shows. That's why it's always a surprise, you know. Even for you, sometimes it's a surprise.
I think it's always a surprise for me, actually. Oh, there we go. There's one more source I gotta figure out. Which one's that? There we go. Boom. Oh God, that's huge. There. Haha. So for anybody watching in on the live show, this is kind of what I'm really focusing on today, I guess. Talking about things that we've been working on. So we got Tib Fox, who's working hard on the mobile app. We can expect that soon to be released on GitHub, open source. If you're ever curious how to contribute, there is a section in there for contributors. But yeah, the mobile app will be most likely Android to start with, and soon after iOS, based on how easy it is to port. Obviously, I want iOS. And he has created a couple stingers and graphics for doing videos so that when we get past this stage of like building all our projects and pieces together and actually move on to advertising, marketing, because me and Tib are on the marketing team, we're hoping to actually streamline like production of how-to videos and DTube ads and things like that. So that was something you said you wanted to see a lot of there, Anime, that DTube hasn't done a good enough job with information.
Problems or tickets, like they call it. And another way, like you said, to have like a tutorial-based channel. I mean, DTube is already the biggest channel. Why not use it as a tutorial base so that people are just also for promotion and other stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where we are kind of trying to move to. And one thing I've been working on is this template. Anybody watching can see me playing with. I don't have the automations working quite correctly. But future shows, nice branded for DTube. As I click through my windows, it'll automatically bring you to where we need to be. So if I have, say, 3 or 4 posts lined up to highlight, I'd be able to quickly bring them up and highlight them. And now while we troubleshooting live. That is not playing to the correct location. Yeah, don't forget, chat in, guys. Anybody chatting in, we're watching. I got the little window up there. I'm watching for any chat coming in. We'll answer questions. If you're a DTuber, leave your DTube username and I'll send you one DTube while you're chatting in. And while we're here, I can discuss a few things that we can look forward to. Have I mentioned anything about Hard Fork 4 to you, Anime? Not exactly a post. There was an update.
Are already done or to be done?
It's in the works. So we have Tech Coder, he's our lead developer on that one, working on Hard Fork 4, orchestrating. Each person's contributing where they can. Hyman Dangers added 2 pieces that I haven't quite followed up with, but the basic idea. Let me pull up with my phone and I can read it. I don't want to show you anything to do with the live chat, get myself in trouble with leader stuff. I'm likely to do that. Okay. It's great though because I can just search HF4 and it's right there. So number 1, reviewing this update, number 1 was multi-signature accounts, which is number 59 on our GitHub. I'm not completely sure what that means, but I believe it's giving permission to be able to do voting from another account. So I could delegate you access to be able to vote on my behalf, which is important.
Nice. That will like skip the bot here on Discord entirely.
Basically. Now, how that works and how I think you'd still need some sort of a bot, but it would enable us to, instead of delegating power, you could delegate the vote, like keychain per se, and that kind of idea, multi-signature. I believe that would also then allow for like the keychain use. New accounts, which is number 2. This is a huge one. After Hard Fork 4, new accounts will be launched with bandwidth and VP based on the burn for creation.
Yes.
Yeah, so nobody's starting fucked anymore. Like the number 1 failure that we've had is like, okay, people land here, things are okay, they try figure it out, but then they're met with a situation that they're like, okay, we don't have anything to utilize, and I'm not sure if I trust the system quite enough yet to make an investment. So if they land and their account is functional for a longer period, they'll be much more likely to continue investing, even if it's just their time and energy.
Well, but remind people, let's not forget, you did add some VP, which means you could do your first video, which would be like an introduction, and that on itself could help you out. But this is even easier now, so yeah, people have like a more bigger way of like coming into DTube and like start right away. So yeah, it is better.
We should definitely highlight the original DTubers as the easiest way to get started. When you're landing on DTube, we're basically just trying to get you to verify yourself as a real person. We call it the original DTubers challenge. It's a verification of whatever you are posting to your channels, your face, your content, to your new DTube channel so that our voters, curators have confidence in the content you create. As you can see, we have a pretty decent list started. Yeah, put together by TibFox, rewarded by the One Love community. So we're working together on this. He orchestrates the approval process, we manage the rewards and all of that since we're making content around it and highlighting and voting it, and we're rewarding you guys for giving us something to do.
Indeed.
Put it back in that perspective, and instead of you verifying yourself, because it's a lot about just trying to generate activity. It's 10 DTube. With 10 DTube, you'll be able to generate 240 VP in a day, which then is enough to be able to post and do your general activity with bandwidth. From there, if you join us on one of these shows, which in future will be lining up with an interview, you get yourself another 10 DTube. So you double up your DTube right there, as well as votes. Once you're verified as an original DTuber, you're more likely to be curated by the One Love community. And I've also been given approval from the Ionomy exchange to use their voting key, the tipped vote, to be able to tip our original DTubers a significant amount. So that is reserved on the One Love Community's actions just for the original DTubers. And I'm reserving that even further to the people that are interacting with our community or with these shows going forward. So it's going to be an interesting thing if we can continue building this out. One Ionomy vote could be like $10 or $20 if we're loving your content.
It's an excellent idea, actually. But that also reminds me to say to the old DTubers, the one already on the platform, if you see a new content creator and you see that he hasn't a lot of, that he hasn't any like DTC, just make a small contribution, just enough that he can start like earning its own VP. It's just a small thing, but believe me, on the long term, you'll be the one, I say, profiting from it, quote unquote. Don't like to use the word, but
It's all about investing. That's kind of why we're all here, right?
yeah.
So where was I at? I was at number 3, I believe. Number 3, limit custom key length to 25. Says it's related to number 40 on our GitHub. Figured it would take a long time and a lot of bandwidth to create infinite custom keys. Hence it is here. So this would be relevant to scalability, the best way I could describe it. Trying to ensure scalability as well as the ability to create custom keys. And number 4, I've already mentioned. I shouted out about the DTube airdrop burning. This has been an ongoing discussion, and if I could pull up leader chat, you guys would get a hoot out of this. We're seeing the first real serious discussion on what we should be doing with the DTube airdrop funds. Brought up by Macron, who's propositioning use in one direction, and then we have everybody filling in their details, and because it's already put into Hard Fork 4 what we're intending to do with it, I believe some of this discussion might be a little bit too late. We're intending to burn it. So by burning it, we're taking it out of distribution. It's not currently in distribution, but we're going to burn it so it can't go into distribution in the future, which then you will have an increased value per se. Yeah, that's it's a slap in the face in some way to the people that have missed out on their opportunity to claim it, but it is the finalization of the process that's already been started of we gave you a drop every month for 6 months. You claimed what you claimed. The rest went to the account to be dealt with later. We've discussed about development, but anything we do other than burning is going against what we said we would have done in the beginning. So we're on the hook to burn it, even though I would love to put it into development. Yes. Perspective, proposed value, not actual like liquidity influence value. Not by burning, we're not going to see the dollar rise, but it's the actual, because so much money value is in the system. By taking that much out of the system, there's still the proposed amount of value in the system, just there's less pieces to distribute, so those pieces are worth more. There you go. Give the layman's terms, because I don't understand it any other way. Okay, so while I am on this screen, sorry anybody live that I switched to the camera, I'm just noticing you can't hear anime. I'll switch back to the chat. Yeah, I need to troubleshoot a little bit because it doesn't seem to want to load all my bits and pieces from one thing to the other on my automations. But my template looks like it's working good, so I'm pleased with that.
Most important.
That's right. You wouldn't believe how much time I spent on this stupid little frickin' template, lining it up, getting it all nice and neat. Oh man.
We call that
It'll be released
investment in
as a
future.
yeah. It'll be released as an official DTube template when I'm done with it. I'm just gonna make sure I have permission to use all the bits and pieces. Alrighty, so that was the DTube airdrop number 5, which is kind of related to the original DTubers. Approval, verification, approval, disapproval, appoint, unappoint, approvers, just for the check mark, and does not have anything to do with additional account functionalities as of yet. That's kind of interesting. That would be relevant to the verification of original DTubers, I think. What do you think about that? Hard Fork 4. We're already getting the verification process underway.
I'm loving it.
Yeah,
Come on with the hard fork.
that's right. Tech Coder's plugging away at it, but as he says at the end, expect this one to take much longer to develop and test compared to the previous hard fork. We kind of hammered through the hard fork and had to play Fixer afterwards, but luckily we're prepared to do so. Yeah, other than that, the last one I really want to mention, and it's an if and or. There's one in there in between that's just going to clean up our leader list, not being able to vote for leaders that aren't active. And it'll clean up the leader list so you'll only know ones that are trying to produce blocks and not the rest of the spammy people in there. Like you, Anime. Poke at you a little bit. Well, it's true. You voted for yourself, right? It seems like a
Yes,
weird.
I double voted for myself.
And then Dude also got some votes. One
Two
Love
for
got some
me.
votes. Yeah. It's a weird bug that you shouldn't be able to do that because if you in theory, you could vote people into consensus that aren't producing blocks and halt the chain. Yeah, that's a. Let's not get into theories of how to break DTube.
Yeah, I see.
So,
I think I understood that, but yeah.
Yeah. So the last
I
last
mean,
one's
a
exciting.
channel
That's
must be
NFTs.
connected to, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We've we've long been talking about how to execute NFTs, and the way TechCoder has explained it to me is it will be relevant to transferable comments and posts, because comments and posts are basically the same thing on the blockchain. You will be able to transfer it. I do not know the entire details, but if it becomes transferable, that means we'd be able to build up a marketplace to be able to buy and sell DTube comments and DTube videos. Um, just as a very basic idea. I like the idea of
Wrapping
being
my
able
head
to.
around.
It's a weird use of NFT, isn't it?
I mean, if DTube could actually if you could like introduce images into your comments, then yeah, that could be a thing. But as of now, or maybe gifts or something, but as of now, just like text. Pretty silly.
Well, and this
Or
is
maybe if it
getting into the
was
function of
Elon Musk
NFTs,
tweeting.
though. Like, it's still in question. Is the NFT the marker on the blockchain, or is the NFT the actual uh, object that is filling that marker?
Good question.
Because we have all this imagery and people sell imagery, but uh, I was reading somewhere that what's the value of an NFT if it can be edited? So if I could, the author can go back and edit the NFT that I've bought, and what gives it any value if it's not, it's supposed to be non-fungible, but they can go funge it all up, depending. So I like the idea with Avalon comments. Uh, you drop one of those like epic quotes and people love it. You go back to your very first comment on DTube and you're like, okay, I'm going to sell my first comment. I don't know. NFTs outside my realm
And
of
yeah,
expertise.
seeing some use for it. I mean, people are creative, so yeah.
It would take the people right now to understand how to make use of the NFT the most with our current ability to adopt it. So as a comment and as a post, like, okay, you could if a post is an NFT, what's stopping you from making a short video and posting that as an NFT to then be able to sell, right? Each one is individual. You'd have your artwork as the video per se. I don't
And
know.
I do have one idea that they could use as NFTs, but in a way is like when you like start using DTube and like for a limited time, something like that, so that later on that could increase in price. You make like badges for like welcome to DTube badge. I don't know, it's kind of things like this that like pop up as like comments below your videos from like DTube bot or something, and those could be NFTs, something like that. And you could
Um,
use the text as an NFT, the comment itself.
I do like the idea of badges. I've mentioned it'd be good to have some sort of a badge system, but it actually NFT is a comment and a badge. I don't know how to. I
Well,
mentioned it,
just
and
look at Hive. Hive does something similar. It's not an NFT, but you get like they tell you, hey, you got so many X people commenting, and I send you like a small picture of a badge.
well, that's a standalone project, even separate from Hive blockchain itself. So, like, One Love Community could launch that. But the NFT would actually require then the blockchain end of it. So how to execute something like that on DTube, I believe, would require the front end would be its own aspect, but the NFT itself is something I don't think, with the distribution model that has been proposed potentially by TechCoder to create comments and posts as NFTs, to then be able to have that as the reward per se, the badge, without having some sort of bot per se running. Yeah, which then would likely be a standalone project, not a DTube team project per se, but like a One Love community project, or a VDC community project, or a U project.
Yeah, no, I see. I see what you mean.
If it's at the comment level, then each one is an NFT. If they made an image, custom image for you, and dropped it as a comment on your post when you get the reward, then if there's some sort of code for the blockchain to be able to recognize it and link it to the front end to display it as a badge, well, then you've got your NFT in display of the badge NFT right on site. So if you transfer ownership, then you're technically transferring the ownership to the other person. The front end should recognize that and display the ownership on the new person's blog, under their badges.
And then later, if people like really are like into it, you could add like a kind of system that you add like a same power to the NFT as you do to the DTC tokens, that it like contributes to your DTC or bandwidth or something special, so that it adds up, some to give it some value at the same time, as it's like a token to appreciation from DTube, saying, hey, here's a reward, kind of, at the same time as here is a badge NFT.
Well, yeah, you can give away as much as you want. It doesn't mean that it's going to relate to activity. The badge kind of is more about the collector thing.
I mean,
NFTs is kind of
yeah,
more about the return on investment. So I don't actually see, like, the NFT market is very speculative. Like, does any of this have the value that people are speculating it to have? And I'm not sure that it does. So what would the value of badges be? And why would DTube team reward you for holding a collection of NFTs?
because
Right?
you don't want
Like,
to sell them, because you need them to for your channel, or it helps out, or up
so
till
then
a
the
point that you don't
reward,
need them anymore.
so the
Sorry.
reward would be best more further features. So like by holding an NFT for, say, whatever badge, it enables you to upload HD content. You know, there's one.
For example,
You buy the premium creator badge, and now you're able to upload 1080p videos or something, right?
for example, that could be a thing. Yeah, that's actually a very good idea.
Versus rewarding VP, because anything that rewards VP would go back to a blockchain based uh, reward specifically, and then
Because let's
forking.
not forget, we need we need people that burn DTC. It's very good. It's a very good thing. The more that people burn DTC, the better for the economy. So
Well,
giving them a
yes,
reason to
that's
burn
true.
DTC.
That's the fundamental thing, is giving them the reason to burn it. And it's not necessarily focusing on the burning, it's more focusing on the services. So what reason do we have to burn DTC right now?
Yeah. And also, I mean, also, I think that the burning should be done in coherence with the market price. So instead of saying, hey, people, you have to pay X DTC, no, you say, people, you have to pay X stablecoin. Let's give it a name, whatever, just stablecoin DTube. And it must be this price, no matter how much DTC you're burning in. So you'll have to have kind of like oblige you to like time the market or something.
Mm, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. It would confuse people. They've been on it since day one about not giving a dollar figurative for DTube, right? It's even if it's a stable coin figurative, we're burning DTube, so there's no reason to give any other figure than what you're burning. I honestly think that the only effective burning that we have now is there's account creation, but then the accounts are created with zero functionality, which we spoke about earlier, and burning for promotion, which is super underpowered, and really until the curation system, until we have a huge amount of people and there's a big incentive to try push yourself up the trending list, the burning feature is less effective than voting yourself, so it's kind of not functional to make use of right now. So what can we build to create further burning that provides a service that people will want to
One,
make use of?
I'll give you some ideas. So you know that when you upload a video on YouTube, you have to upload a thumbnail separately.
Yeah.
So let's say like this. Hey, you want to have a thumbnail on your video? You burn X amount of DTC. Else, if you don't want it, it's okay, but your video will show up with a random frame from the video itself.
So you want to
That's one
implement
reason.
cost on every action.
Not every action, but mostly cosmetics. So
But
it's not
that
it's gonna
would
influence, of course. Yeah, sorry. That
that would
would
eliminate IPFS uploads of new users completely. Any cost on a thumbnail, done.
doesn't need to be much. And
It's
then again,
it
you can still upload your video. So people want to upload their video. And don't forget one thing, if you do it from YouTube, you don't even need a thumbnail because it comes from YouTube automatically, the thumbnail.
That's why I mentioned IPFS specifically. So
Mhm.
IPFS, if you can't upload your thumbnail, you can't post your video, which means you can't earn. So we would be forcing new
You
users
can't.
to use YouTube,
I
which
didn't know that.
is not our goal.
I didn't know. I thought it was like a separate, when you have like multi sources from video qualities that you could have also like a separate thing when you don't had to have a thumbnail. I thought it was like that. I didn't
It could be
experience it.
modified. Could be
Yeah.
modified, but it's still, that's not a great thing to see as videos without thumbnails because of cost to be able to upload them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you could add like a very little amount of DTube, like a minimal 0.001 DTube or something.
I would more angle towards enabling high quality with cost, so you still have your free base level. As soon as you have, we have a hard time onboarding and maintaining users, so there is no reason for us to create any cost at the base level of user experience. In my opinion, we should be trying to lower cost. In some regards, we should be paying people to come onto our platform and learn about it, but we're not doing that as
Yeah,
well as our
that's
competitors,
the
and that's
ideal.
why we're falling behind. But
That's the
at the
ideal.
same time, there's Yeah, sorry, I forgot where I was going. You cut me off. What was I saying before?
You were talking about giving people, we are talking about burning DTC and then initializing people to like, you said, like, listen, you need to give people more free stuff instead of restricting people's stuff.
Oh yeah, the base level. So then the second level of DTube would be like the premium level, where then you're paying fees to get high quality video uploads, high quality thumbnail uploads, to be able to get a high quality profile banner, a high quality, because all those things are resources and costs. There's no reason that we can't charge them or force them to burn on the chain to be able to submit those specific things, especially if we have an upload for it. But under the current state, to be able to get people to join the platform and then encourage them to burn when their focus is content creation and content viewership, it kind of confuses the platform from being one of content
Okay.
into one of investment.
Okay. Okay. And then if we put it like this, so you have some things that you have to burn, but I think that in on top of like a, let's say it like that, on top of like earning VP, there should be a way to like a faucet or something to initialize people to get DTC and at the same time do something for DTube. If you know what I see. Like a way.
Well,
Like
yeah,
which
that's
which DTubers don't need to, but like new starting ones could need to. Like, hey, if you like go to Twitter and you promoted our, I don't know, blah blah blah, you get X DTC. If you go do
okay.
this for, and then you see some
What's
kind of
stopping you from
system.
doing it?
What's stopping you from? You mean in general?
Yeah. Well,
Like,
this
why
is,
why not doing it?
well, I mean, why,
Because
what's
people
stopping
don't do
you
things for
from,
free.
there we go. So what's stopping you from operating the entire show, rewarding the people, asking them to go to Twitter, rewarding them, all of that stuff? Why don't you do it?
We need a
Here's
bot.
the,
We need a bot for
see,
it, actually.
you're getting to the subject that I'm pointing at, is that we have kind of a too small of a team to worry about trying to keep up with rewarding the people that are only here for money, when we're still building the foundation of the system we all hope to build into something bigger. So like, we've discussed it. The onboarding funnel is not where it should be. I've projected where I would like to see it going, and the DTube team seems like they're behind it. But there's a misconception between what DTube is and what DTube team is. DTube and DTube team are not the same. It's like
No,
saying
no,
Steam and
no.
Steemit are not the same, or Hive blockchain and the Hive witnesses, which are
Yeah,
essentially an organization of people collaborating with like minds, are not the same, because despite people working together, the blockchain can go opposite direction of what the discussion goes, like we've seen on Steam. Um, so where we are now, to be able to move forward, focusing on the user onboarding and retention is primary, I believe, but that always comes back to being able to push forward the development and the pieces to make it functional, which is now kind of related to a leader discussion of what can we do with the DTube airdrop funds? How can we fund a developmental proposal system? Is DTube funding it? Are the leaders funding it? How are we doing this? It's like, hell, if I had the opportunity to be full-time DTube, I'd sit here and stream 24 hours a day
Mm,
if that's what it took. Like, but I'd need to be able to account for my livelihood,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, we
we're
all have
still
lives, of course.
still evolving all that. I can't expect too much from the people that have limited amount of time to be involved to take on the responsibility of the funding. So it's like to actually get everybody involved, uh, we need communities and individual projects to start building up the development. So like the One Love community has taken over this original DTuber thing. This is more than likely going to remain a One Love community, non-official, supported by official, maybe funded through official means eventually through proposals, but it'll remain a community thing, right? And that's how DTube develops is you got the One Love IPFS uploader. We got this original DTubers thing going. We got Tib Fox building up the mobile application, which will be DTube Go. And then we got the proposal system being brought up, right? And they all kind of end
Yeah.
up kind of individual.
But those are all essential projects to help out in a way in marketing, but not only, but
Mm-hmm.
especially in a way that it's more accessible to people also. And that's the most important thing. It's giving people a more access, more freely access to the platform.
Exactly. That is our
and
goal. That is our goal.
and as you say, you might say that hey, there is not a lot of people on DTube, but I can tell you this: there is a lot more, and I can see this on my own site when I like wrote those tutorials. I've seen a lot of traffic coming from Google on researching on how to upload on DTube, how to swap your DTube coins, how to. I see those research, and I can actually, and that people come and read the blogs and blah blah. So there is a lot of interest, but there's not a lot of information, and I
Yeah.
think that's also a big blocker.
Mm, I find most of the time it ends up being the barrier of entry combined with the cost and then, difficulty. Our user experience needs to get a lot better before we could really call ourselves competitive with what is mainstream out there today. And I do believe the mobile app will help with that, right? Once the mobile app is out, um, I imagine if it's functional, good and functional, works well, a large proportion of the traffic will move to the mobile application for their daily engagements, right?
Yeah, yeah, especially people like me. We're like working and stuff, and we don't have a PC 24 hours a day.
Yeah, exactly.
And also an easier way to like do voting because right now on a phone, mobile browser on YouTube, which god damn it, sometimes it's frustrating. I
I
mean,
hear you.
voting, only voting. I'm not saying I'm not talking about watching stuff or posting comment. I'm talking about voting specifically.
Did you
I think you
catch
know
Tip
why.
Fox's video? He gives a little demonstration
Yeah,
of what
yeah,
he's
yeah.
got working.
How you could, yeah.
It's pretty easy.
I
They
found a
got the
way to like
default,
block it.
found a way of blocking what?
Example, I had this problem with when you like slide up like the voter, the percentage of your vote, the page would like slide up at the same time. So I wasn't like sliding the voter, I was sliding the page. So the voter
Huh.
had that like no effect. So what I had to do is like go back to the settings, put my vote at the percentage that I wanted, refresh, and then it will be okay. It's like a
What a
simple thing.
pain.
But that was on Chrome, Google Chrome. On Brave, which is basically Chromium, which is the same thing, I don't have that. I mean, I have a small bug when it's like scrolling, but it's not the same. It stops. It's not the page which is scrolling. Is the whole slider, the box in the slider is scrolling a little bit also, but it's not that bad. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposedly it's a coding thing.
Anyways,
But
those
of
bugs
course,
will
if you,
be
yeah,
solved with an actual mobile application to be able to function through. The sliders look like they were set to be able to customize your comment and your regular default votes separately rather than just having one. And the slider itself is sideways across the entire screen of the mobile instead of being up and down and a thing that pops up and down, pop-up window that's kind of useless on mobile for the most part.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's about it for today, though, I think. Covered our details, ran it up an hour. I invited probably about 15 people for today's show. I got one maybe. Not so maybe.
Maybe not so. Maybe yeah. Well, it's funny because if we were like right now, if we were like in the One Love community, I will guarantee you we would like having minimum 5 people, minimum with us, without counting you and me.
Well, they're just watching me. They want me to give them DTube.
Here, have some DTube in your face.
Yeah. Here, let's see. All right, let's put it out there. Next person to join the DTube stage gets 10 DTube. You got to join in. Anybody out there, come in, join the stage. Got to actually come into DTube Discord, figure out how to do that. Join the stage.
Oh, they know. They know.
Yeah, no, I'd have to like throw 1,000 DTube around. Throwing 1,000 DTube around,
Damn, no,
200
no, that's too
bucks.
much. For 1,000 DTube, damn, dude.
Well, that's like nothing really in the grand scheme of things. I mean,
For me, 1,000 DTube is 1,000 VP I get every hour. That's a
mhm.
lot. That's a lot. I
Oh,
could
but
basically do a vote every like 10 hours. I could like vote on somebody.
I'll put it to you
If
this way. I've been contacted by several different people that operate AMAs and interviews and that sort of stuff. I've been feeling it out like, okay, what is it going to cost if we start getting involved with influencers? Okay, let's invite this community, they're a content creator, we'll get everybody involved, have a group of DTube leaders hopefully meet up for the AMA, talk about the questions, they're going to translate it into their community's language, which is huge. Oh, okay, cool. And then they come back, I'm like, all right, yeah, we'll do this. Sure, yeah, we'll talk about costs of doing it. And then they start talking about, okay, well, we want $200 for our administrators to orchestrate the whole thing. And then we want $200 for each person that wins during the AMA. And then we want, I'm like, so for a single AMA, you're talking $1,000. I'm like, if you are legit, I don't know how you manage to convince people to be able to buy into this unless they have huge backing or this is a scam. But then I was contacted by further people, and it's like, no, people charge anywhere from $300 up to $1,500 for an interview. And I'm talking like, I got offered by Crypto Chris, Scotty C Business. There we go. Scotty C Business. He'll have an
Scotty
interview
C
with me,
business. Yeah, yeah.
right? He'll have an interview with us. He's happy to do it because he posts the content. It doesn't cost anything. It takes up some of his time. We're not paying for his time. He makes money on content. He talks with people. It's a win-win scenario to have an interview, right? But
For him, yeah,
other
it's free
people,
publicity.
yeah, they want you to pay them for their time. So it's like to get an interview with other individuals that are at nearly the same level. They're like, hey, I want $400 for my time. You want an hour on video? $400. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm promoting you. You
Pretty
want me to
greedy.
pay you to promote you?
Well, let's put it like this. You remember that Joe? What was his name again? The one that's doing like interviews with a lot of people. Joe Rogan. When he did the interview with Elon Musk, I I I I would burn my hand to say that he has paid a lot of money to get to that interview.
I don't know. I
Or do you think Elon was like, you know what? I'm gonna go on that show and I'm gonna smoke a joint. Like I
I
don't care.
don't think there is money exchanged on that show because the if think about it this way, I would
Mm.
pay Joe to be on his show.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Me too. Honestly, yeah.
Um, Someone with a message would likely want to pay him to be on his show. So that's a money revenue all of its own.
But then again, his show is very known. Yeah, the more like you're shown, the more audience that you have, the more that you're like contributing to exposure of the person that you're like talking to.
Yeah.
So the more you're helping them out, actually.
So it's an
Yeah.
interesting thing. I don't know. Um, the entire thing is kind of stupid because especially when I'm like, I want to bring them on my platform. I'm like, okay, let's bring people on and talk to them, and they want me to pay them, even though it's like highlighting them, right? So this whole original DTuber thing, I'm like, oh yeah, come and promote yourself, and I'm gonna pay you. And we got to the 7th episode, we've run out of active people.
And you are doing it on top of it because you're paying people 10 DTC to come up here. So that's
Yeah,
the funny thing.
to
you
come on and
you you
talk about
you get
yourself.
paid to promote your. So I I myself I don't. But that's personally. I don't think that's a good thing that you should. Yeah, in a way, yes and no, because it's DTube and we are talking about the platform that we need DTC. So yeah, in a way, I kind of understand. But if you like give would give even more to people, I would say no, no, stop. That's that's not a good thing.
Oh well, that's where we're at today. So we're pivoting the show in future. Each week we'll probably just try discuss things you were mentioning, talking price and where you could purchase. Um, Now I'm not really prepared to do any sort of price analysis or anything like that, or
We could
really
give the
talk
current
about.
price of DTube.
Yeah, if you want to go look it up, give
I
her.
yeah, I'm gonna say right now. So CoinGecko up. Let's see. Back search for. Yep. Come on. There we go. DTube. Loading. DTube coin. Such a handy thing, CoinGecko. So in euros right now, it's about 14 cents. Let me put this in dollars because
You even call them cents and euros,
yeah, cents.
euro cents. I
But
didn't know that.
yeah, euro cents. Yeah. In French is centime, Portuguese centavos, cêntimos. Uh, every country has its like its way of saying it. So yeah, it's the game. I had I have put like a banner for the DTube price on my site. So automatically when I go to my site now, I can see the price. on the forum. Here we go. So current DTube price is at, let me get charged in dollars, American dollars this time, 17 cents.
There we go.
And 17. So price analysis. I was just saying the last 7 days we had a big dip, but that's normal because all the all the currencies had like a big dip these last few days.
It
But there's
definitely
not a
has
lot of
been
yeah.
on the down.
Thing is, there's not a lot of DTube on the exchanges itself, so that's why there is not a lot of exchanges being made.
Yeah, we need to increase our liquidity, that's for sure. We've talked about that a few times, increasing liquidity via the pooling, earning for that. I'm not sure how I feel about the one yet on Uniswap, but the Pancake Swap looks interesting. But that won't actually affect the price, make it go up. You guys got to get out there and buy and hodl some coins to make it go up. Stop selling.
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
If you sell your
And I
DTube,
hope they
you don't have VP. If you don't have VP, you don't earn more coins.
exactly. So the best thing is that don't even get them out of DTube. Just keep them on your channel. That's the best option. But of
Yeah,
course, everyone has a life, and everyone has like its problems and things and unexpected moments. So you might want to, and yeah, there is some exchanges. The thing is that I hope that they add the other exchanges here on on CoinGecko, because there's currently only the Uniswap one,
yeah.
and there's also something weird about it because there's like V2 and there's Uniswap V3 also, or something weird about it.
I believe we need to get converted our liquidity pool to version 3. I still don't know what's going on with that. I've never followed up with it. I got distracted with Binance Coin and still need to follow up with doing some staking rewards on that funding of the liquidity pool. But my
So if I'm
prime
not mistaken,
suggestion is Ionomy
yeah,
for
yeah.
picking up DTube. It's the easiest, most straightforward. And you also, if you're sending your DTube to sell on there, you are donating your VP to the One Love community to vote original DTubers with. So it's a win-win in my case. I guess all of our cases. I mean, if you're an original DTuber, then that's a win-win for you too. But remember, you guys, if you wish to engage with the platform, it's best to have a high amount of VP, so then your self-voting is self-rewarding. Because if you're not self-rewarding, then you're giving the opportunity to the next person to steal a potential reward on any of your votes. Now with this,
So
everything being
one thing,
NFT coming up soon, every comment will potentially have a different value than what it does currently.
and this gives a good reason to have your community involved, because having a community involved will automatically increase the prices of your own NFTs because it's a community thing. So you might think about, I mean, and yeah, and don't forget about talking the partner program on DTube to invite people. So the more
You
people
know
that
more
you
about
invite,
that than I do.
mhm.
I don't know nothing
So
about the
if you like
partnership program.
open a page now, open a like a new browser, incognito browser, and you go to DTube, and on the bottom of the page you like show up, hey, you can participate in a partnership program, and then you can like click on it, and you will read the whole white paper about the partnership program.
Well, you're supposed to be able to earn VP for all the people that you refer. Is that not currently working? Yeah. Anyways, I just pulled that up. Oh god. When I go to this screen, your voice doesn't come up either. No. Well, that's the partnership program page. God damn it. What happens there? Oh no, it's just my template layout. For some reason, my template wants to drop my background chat when I switch scenes automatically, but when I manually select scenes, it works just fine. Anyways, there we go, guys. That's today's show. Don't forget, DTube's available on Whitebit, Ionomy, Uniswap, PancakeSwap. You can find all the details for DTube ongoings in the info channel where you can find it. Partnership program, bottom left-hand corner on the menu. And we got an ongoing contest I haven't spoken enough about, giving away 100 DTube for DTube Snap promotion of DTube, posted to your social. Yeah, check out the DTube cross promotion channel for that. Any last words, Anime?
Well, to the moon, DTube, to the moon.
To the moon.
That's all I want to say. Amen.
Alrighty. Well, let's go to the moon then. Peace out, guys.